All right, guys, today I'm going to go over the rational number arithmetic PFA. We're going to do a few practice problems to help us get going on that. So, like I said, we're working on the rational number arithmetic PFA. Hopefully you've got a pencil and paper ready so we can go through the problems. Or if you made a copy of these slides, you can type in the work or screenshot the work and write it in on your computer, whatever works best for you guys. So, problem number 1 is going to be, we're going to start with problem number 1 here, which is 3/8 plus -1/4. So remember that whenever I have a positive and a negative, I'm going to subtract from the bigger number and keep the sign of the bigger number. But looking at this, I don't really know necessarily which one is bigger. That's because I don't necessarily know is 3/8 or 1/4 bigger. So to figure that out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert to have a common denominator. I know that 4 goes into 8, so I'm going to convert the 1/4. I'm going to multiply by 2 on both top and bottom to get it into 8. So now I've got 3/8 plus -1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay? Now which one is bigger, 3/8 or 2/8? 3/8. So I know my answer is going to be positive because it's the bigger number. And then I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1/8. So there's the answer to my first problem. So let's go to my next problem. On my next problem, it says 12 minus -11. In order to do this one, I need to use the distributive property or keep change. Or I mean, not the distributive property, sorry. We need to use keep change to help convert from a subtraction problem into an addition problem. Okay, so I'm going to keep my 12. I'm going to change my negative here into an addition sign, and I'm going to change this negative into an addition to do keep, change. So now if I rewrite the problem as an addition problem, it's 12 plus 11. The reason why I could do this is if I wrote this as an addition problem, I would have 12 plus -11. Well, negative cancels out. So now it's just 12 plus 11. 12 plus 11 is 23. So there's my answer for problem number 2. So let's move on now to problem number 3. Problem number 3 is 5 divided by -1/3. Remember that if I divide by a negative, and there's only one negative there, a positive divided by a negative is always going to be a negative. So now I need to do 5 divided by -1/3. So whenever I divide by fractions, I have to do multiplying by the reciprocal. Remember that dividing by that a fraction represents division. So we're talking about dividing by 3. Well, the opposite of dividing by 3 is telling us it's multiplying. By divide, it cancels out and becomes multiply. So that's why the reciprocal works, because the reciprocal gets rid of that double division that there's dividing by a fraction. So I'm going to do 5/6, and I'm going to use keep, change, flip to help me find my reciprocal. So 5/6, I change my division into multiplication, and I flip my second fraction to my reciprocal, which is 3/1. Remember, since it was a positive divided by a negative, it's still going to be negative. 5 times 3 is 15. All over 6 times 1 is 6. Okay, 6 goes into 15 2 times, okay, which is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3/6. So now I've got to simplify it just a little bit more. That's -2, and 3/6 is the same thing as 1/2. Okay, so my answer here is -2 and 1/2. All right, let's move on to problem number 4. Okay, what is -63 times 12? Remember, a negative times a negative, or a negative times a positive is a negative. Negative times a negative is positive. Positive times a positive is positive. Negative times a positive is a negative. So now I've got to do 63 times 12. No, my answer is negative. I already know that. So now I'm going to do 63 times 12. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Carry my 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 6 is 6. 6 plus 0 is 6. 2 plus 3 is 5. 1 plus 7 is 7. So negative 756 is my answer. All right, let's go on to our last problem. All right, our next one is what is negative 32 times negative 5? A negative times a negative makes a positive, so right off the bat I can tell you my answer is positive. Now I've got to do 32 times 5, so 32 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10, carry the 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. So my answer is positive 160. All right, let's move on. Well, it looks like all of our problems for today. We did 5 great practice problems. If you need to do some more practice problems, I recommend doing the diagnostic or checking out Delta Math, where we have the practice problem activities. But you are good to try and take your PFA. Have a good day, guys.